it's a beautiful space because there's trees. There's this one tree which is probably 70, 100 years old. A little later, after office hours, because when the noise dies down, it's just before Maghrib when the birds are descending, so it's just chirp, 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 chirp. We do home decor, dining, and tableware, cushions. Then we do styles. So we've got jewelry, bags. Hopefully, we're gonna launch apparel in February at our upcoming next Goil exhibition, which we do once a year.
There's also a lot of social expectations as to how often you can repeat an outfit, for example.
Pollution is not just with our clothes, right? It's with our children's gifts. It's with our corporate gifts. I mean, this need to put your logo, dude, nobody's using it. Everyone's passing it down. And that's just creating more trash. And oh my God, tote bags. I can't take another tote bag. And then I realized the idea of being creative or being in that act of creating something is actually where the satisfaction lies. So there's a professor from London actually, Alice Kettle. She sends work to the artisans and then she further works on their work and takes it all over the world and supports our artisans.
Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of All Things Money. My guest today is Somayeh Bardai, and I'm really excited to have her on my show because she is CEO of RLCC, a non-profit Raana Liaquat Craftsmen Colony. And why I'm excited is this is one of the first women empowerment organizations in Pakistan, one that dates all the way back to the partition. In fact, it was set up to help the artisans that were migrating from India to Pakistan. So it has really deep roots. But right now, RLCC is taking new direction, and that is something I'm excited to explore about today. Thank you for coming to my show, and you're very welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so RLCC, if I understand, goes all the way back to Begum Liaquat, and she was the initial founder. Yeah. So can you tell us a little about its history?
So Begum Raana Liaquat Khan set up RLCC, got the land in Shah Faisal Colony in 1949, and she inaugurated it as an not-for-profit organization in 1954. What she did is she built a housing society because Shah Faisal is located between the railway and the airport. So it was, a central place for the artisans and karigars that were migrating post-partition. And she really was very future thinking in terms of preserving our traditional crafts and providing for, the creative people that were coming in. And in order to keep that creativity alive, she made a housing society, and in her plan in initial days was to build a shopping center there for them. So initially she ran it for 8 years. She built a clinic because the minute they came in, and it is a women empowerment organization, so that's where actually the idea of women empowerment started from, because they realized, okay, what are we going to do with all the mothers and the children? Karigaron ke liye to ghar kar diya, but we have to support their families. It has to be a holistic support system. So therefore, then the first thing that they built was the clinic, and they built a kindergarten, which was like 4 rooms at inauguration. And so after 8 years, she kind of handed it over to a lady called Begum Abbasi, and she ran RLCC for 40 years. But those 40 years were at a point where, because Shah Faisal was such a politicized area, it was very unsafe. So a lot of people, couldn't go there. There wasn't access. Them being there, they were trying to survive within that whole political climate. And about 20 years ago, my chairperson, Salwa Habib, took over because RLCC is an affiliate organization of APWA. And so Salwa came through the APWA route.
Yeah, what is that?
So All Pakistan Women's Association, which is a massive network of, organizations which also Begum Raana Liaquat set up. And they are all across Pakistan. So we are an affiliate of APWA. But we also work independently because it's, in one location, and we have our own board of trustees, which was formulated about 12 years ago. So we work on a strategic plan. The organization has 4 main departments. There is now a school, which Salwa also was responsible for building. It's a school till metric. We have 750 children. It's a co-ed school.
So those are the children of the artisans, or anybody can come?
Some are from the local community. So Shah Faisal Colony is predominantly a Pashto-speaking and an Urdu-speaking community. So for them to even, have a school that is co-ed English medium is like, unheard of. With a huge sports ground, with a playground for kids, there's a computer lab, there's a library, there's a massive auditorium. So there's a lot that we have kind of added in terms of value for the community through the school. And then, of course, we have the clinic, which is running mother and child services. We are partnered with LRBT, who does free eye checkups. We have a recovery house. They have a program called Caravan of Life. And so we have free mental health within the community. And in addition to that, we have a vocational training department, which is predominantly for training women. We just partnered with Hunar Foundation last year for our computer graphics program. And so that is now the Hunar curriculum, and the examination and certification is done by Hunar. We also have beautician and textiles for women. And we have a livelihood department which now supports over 450 home-based craftswomen. And so the crafts that we produce are, very consciously designed to be either upcycled from waste, or the materials that we use are natural fiber. And so the livelihood department was set up in 2008, and it's been operational till now, and hopefully we're going to start our e-commerce website. It's going to go live on Monday, so that's pretty exciting. But yeah, so I mean, that's one avenue that we support these artisans through. Another avenue is that we take custom orders, bulk orders, corporate orders. You have a shadi, you want the bari and the bit pouches, you come to us. You want to get a gift for your kids, friends, you come to us. You want to do the giveaways for your birthday party, you come to us. Basically, we have a solution for producing for a conscious, eco-conscious products for all events and all, needs and reasons.
So you said this is Urdu speaking and Pashto speaking.
Mostly, yeah.
So there should be some underlying layers of hostility over there. Is that a challenge for the school, for the different arms that you have?
There isn't anymore. Like, I've been there full time about 5 years, and I've never really have felt any challenge in any way as such regarding regional differences at all.
I think when there's a source of revenue, and when there's a school, and when there's healthcare, there's less hostility to bring out the differences.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely,
that is very good for societal cohesion.
Yeah, and then plus, I mean, the organization is supporting women, right? So when the women come in, their issues are completely different. They're not talking about politics at all.
They want to make sure their children are fed,
exactly,
and educated, not about who said what, when.
Exactly. I mean, the conversation amongst women is a very different kind of conversation. It's more about, how do I give me work so that I can put my kids in school. And oftentimes put my girls in school, because the boys get educated regardless, because that is priority.
Absolutely.
It's the girls that get left out.
And when you reach out to the mothers, you can through them reach the daughters, and there's generations of education happening through that. So you said you had around 400 artisans?
Yeah, over 400. Yeah.
So, but then you also have the school and the clinic. So how many families are you directly touching?
So we do touch about over 20,000 beneficiaries a year.
So these are direct beneficiaries?
A year, yeah.
So if you assume 4 to 5 per family, that's over 100,000 people that you're impacting. And so this is vocational training, this is clinic and school, everything combined.
Yes, and then the outreach team, which goes out and gives talks on very important topics like, breast cancer awareness or child safety, child protection, a whole number of women's legal rights. So all of these things that they go out and really share this knowledge with the community and bring in the community as well to RLCC. You should come visit. It's a beautiful space, because there's trees. I mean, there's this one tree which is probably 70, 100 years old.
Walk people through it.
Oh, that would be lovely. Well, as soon as you enter, you don't feel like you're in Karachi.
Oh, really?
Because there's just such big, massive trees. So
trees.
So I stay. Yeah, trees. Exactly.
Trees.
Trees. So we, some team members, we generally stay in a little later after office hours, because when the noise dies down, It's just before Maghrib when the birds are descending. So it's just chirp, 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 chirp. It's just magical. It's really a magical space. And whoever comes to visit us, they're just flabbergasted. Like before they leave, they're like, we never knew this place existed. This is so amazing. Why don't people know about it? So visits is something that is open for anybody. Whoever wants to visit RLCC can just reach out to us and come and visit at any time.
Sure, I would love to do that. So all this, the beautiful space and the outreach program, how is it funded? Do you have some backing? You and United Nations corporates, whatever.
Oh man, I wish. No, we don't have any backing. Okay. We don't have any backing. We have a board of trustees that have been supporting this initiative for the past 10-15 years now. So we are 60% self-sustained because we have the school fees and we have the clinic fees and we have the vocational training fees. So these three kind of support themselves, but there are a lot of issues with that, which is that, first of all the fees are subsidized. So the school fees is 1,200 rupees a month. We cannot raise the school fees more than 5%, and inflation is at 40%. Exactly. So how do you sustain that? Second, recovering fees becomes a problem because when inflation hits, they can't even afford that 1200 anymore. So there's a lot of backlog in terms of receiving the fees as well. So hence now the school, which used to 100% sustain itself for the past 2-3 years, has been consistently in a loss. Vocational training again is subsidized. The fees is about anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 depending on the course or the level of the course. Again, communities.
And how long is the course?
Well, we have 1-month courses, 3-month courses, 6-month courses.
So the minimum is 1
there's
month.
Different.
So when you say rupees 1,000, 2,000, that's per month?
That's per month, yeah. That's per month. So again, there with inflation, the inflow of students has decreased because people can't afford it. And if you're paying a Bijli bill for nothing, where are you going to have extra cash to go do vocational training?
And it becomes such a vicious cycle because they cannot afford to learn, so they cannot afford to earn, and they cannot afford to earn, they cannot afford to pay, and they're just being pushed further down into poverty.
It is a vicious cycle. And even with our health department, to visit a doctor, the fees is 150 rupees. It's nothing. However, during COVID, so many other clinics have popped up in the area. We used to be, one of the very few. And then the pandemic, all of these clinics mushroomed up, and so patients don't come to us anymore.
Okay.
But
that's a good thing, right? That they have more easy.
It's a good thing that they have acceptable healthcare, but then we also need to now, we are looking for an organization that can come in and adopt our clinic and help us run it, because we don't have that expertise or focus, and we also need help with marketing. That is one thing that we really suffer with, is proper marketing channels, because you're in the business, you know how much marketing people come at, and we can barely support ourselves, let alone support that. So coming back to your earlier question, no, there isn't a corporate or organization or company that is supporting us. And it would be amazing if that would happen, because we need to build and they don't have to do it forever. It's just until we can build an endowment fund enough to support our operations, and then we can think about growth into other areas, because keep in mind the organization's been there for 70 years and it's still there and it's still growing. The speed might be less, but it has sustained itself. So something is right.
It's supporting 20,000 families. That's something. From a human angle, that's something that should be thought about, right?
Yeah. Right. And it's doing great work, So
the pandemic was really hard for you. Any silver linings there? Anything that you good came out of?
Yeah, so when lockdown happened, we kind of said, my God, how the hell are we going to survive? School managed because education is mandatory, right? Even as a parent, you're a parent, you'd know, बच्चे को स्कूल तो भेजना है. So now if I don't have a smartphone or if I don't have mobile data, I will make sure I get it so that my child can get educated, right? In that circumstance.
Do you think the number of women in your program helped with that understanding that if there is no smartphone data, we need to get it because our children are educated.
So this happened during the pandemic. So school still did okay, and our teachers managed to put up their lessons on WhatsApp and share it with the kids, and so the school, was fairly in a better position. Vocational training completely shut down.
Okay.
Because we did a study and realized that only 1% of our students could afford a smartphone and data. We did the study now, 3 years later, 50% of them now have smartphones and data. So the pandemic also pushed the communities in that direction of coming on to, digital platforms and having access and having the understanding to run it as well. So that really, it destroyed vocational for us during that time. We had to completely shut down, but it did also, in the long run, make a huge difference. Livelihoods, however, these are women that need to come in and we sit with them. There's trainings, there's, groups of women that sit together and make products. Now, everything is at standstill, right? There's no orders coming in, there's no orders going out, product is not selling, nobody's leaving. Groceries is like your bare minimum, which you're surviving on. So now everyone's gone into, okay, let's start cooking because there's nothing else to do. But so we're like, okay, how do we support? And at that time, we were supporting about a little over 150 artisans. So, like, how are they gonna feed themselves and their families? Everything's shut. So I put out one post, we're looking for ration, please help. We've got these 150 women. And alhamdulillah, we managed to collect enough to give them ration for 3 months. But during those 3 months, we also realized that we have stores and stores of textile waste. We anyways were making products with textile waste. And, people started ordering masks. Can you embroider a mask for me? And we're like, okay, the need of the hour now is masks.
Yeah, I remember. And we were crazy over masks.
And so, that's what we did. We got all the women just on mask production. And we produced the highest units of product that year, and we did our highest sales that year, which was shocking because at the beginning of that year, we're like, how are we going to survive this? And it is just,
and
just in the right place at the right time, making the right thing, I guess, And so alhamdulillah, like even through COVID, we managed to survive and do better than we had previously.
So we have the story of how you came about with masks. But then that's one story. Then the other, the whole ban on plastic bags, that is also something I think that helped you along the way.
So how the livelihood department came into creation was in 2008, there was a ban on plastic bags citywide. And my chairperson and her business partner, her volunteer partner, they came up with this bright idea that, we've got all these women that come to, that we can support, because outreach was already, going to them, and said, okay, this is an opportunity for women to start earning. Let's put this department together. And so they started with creating upcycling newspaper to make newspaper shopping bags. And so they did big orders for Khadi at the time. They did big orders for Agaz at the time.
Oh, Agaz was there before the fire.
Agaz was there. So that's why the journey of upcycling began. And today we have textile waste, the katran that comes out from the sides of your stitching, that is provided to us by some major big names, like Deepak sends all of his katran to us, Koel sends all of their katran to us. Then there are big factories that send damaged fabric, like printing sahi nahi hui, damage ho gaya. So they send salvages, so anything that is waste, we turn into something. So, we are like the epitome of trash into treasure. Like, aap kachra bhej dein, hum khazana bana denge uska. It's that simple. So we take everything. We take everything in donation, like not just even waste. The waste we use in production to make product out of. And so we do upcycled products. And we do a range of products. We do home decor, dining, and, tableware, cushions. Then we do styles. We've got jewelry, bags. Hopefully we're going to launch apparel in February at our upcoming next Koel exhibition, which we do once a year. It's a 3-day exhibition. And we also make children's products. So there's, toy sticks and pet products. There's cat sticks and toy sticks and, pillows and cushions and games. And so it's really fun. I mean, all these 450 women are adept at so many different techniques, from crochet to embroidery to stitching to basketry to you name it. So whatever skill you have, just come and we'll find a product for you to make. And we always ask them, what do you like to make? Because if your heart is not in it, you're going to mess it up. So we don't force, give them orders, "Kidni tumne ye banana hai." We know who wants to make what. And then we own their skills within that.
So this is great, sustainability and all that. But, why would somebody go buy a mug made by local and artisan when you can buy 6 mugs at a lower price from Temu? I mean, the competition from Chinese import.
Craft sector is another world altogether. I mean, I say craft sector, it sounds like Zainab market. But when I talk about crafts, it's really handmade products. And there are so many people in the urban centers that are now, when we go to Commons Karachi or Mashin Bazaar or Crafters Guild, these are all people that are supporting local entrepreneurs. The level of creativity and confidence that people have now to come out and say, I am a businesswoman, or I'm and this is my product, and you enjoy making it, you enjoy creating it because you're creative, it's artistic, it's artisanal, and you're bringing it out to the market. But so I don't think there can ever be a competition. I think more and more people need to be made conscious of the fact that these fast fashion and bulk selling platforms are really destroying the environment. And so people who are conscious of that will purchase from local artisans, and people who are not conscious of that will still go and buy from these platforms. It's just a matter of bringing that awareness to people. There's a documentary which I recently watched called Buy Now on Netflix. Okay. And that also talks about consumerism and consumption. And so if you haven't seen it, you must. Yeah, there was another documentary which I watched, which actually changed the way that I was looking at the world, because we're not aware, right? Until somebody comes and shows us, look, this is what this does. You're not going to know as a common man. I think a lot of these documentaries also that are talking about climate change and talking about environmental hazards and how the textile industries are the biggest pollutant in this area, those documentaries need to be dubbed into the local language and aired. There was one back in the day called Addicted to Plastic, which spoke about this massive body of plastic that is in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And it's killing the wildlife, it's killing the marine life, it's killing us. Essentially, we're killing ourselves, we just don't know it.
Yeah, I mean, climate change, sustainability, have become but I think the millennials and the Gen Z are becoming increasingly aware, and that's the awareness we'll pass on to the alphas and the betas now.
They are more aware, but then, I think sometimes we do ignore a lot of things, and we are human at the end of the day. We all know. But sometimes we do want to feed that urge to,
There's
satisfy.
also a lot of social expectations as to how often you can repeat an outfit, for example.
Of clothing, to forget it, man. We were talking about this earlier, that, our homes are made with cupboards, but our lifestyles are walk-in closets. So how do we fit this? And there is that social expectation. Like, you can't wear the same outfit to 4 different weddings. So what you can do to counter that, and which is the thing that I do. So I worked on a project in 2012, which was putting children into school that are cotton picking district. So it was a Save the Children project. This was 2012. I spent 2 years in Sangar and Muzaffargarh, which are both major cotton growing districts, right? And so all of this 100% natural cotton and stuff that we talk about is picked by children that are not going to school. So there's massive child labor in that. And so once you see that, you can't unsee it, right? It's the same as looking at a documentary, you can't unsee it. So I couldn't unsee it. So I came back and I said, okay, shopping bus khatam, done. And from childhood, I was like, fashion, style, want to look good, constant. And my mother would say, buy one thing. Okay, spend $100, buy one thing. I'd say, no, I'm going to go to Target, I'm going to buy 10 things for $10 each. So it was always overconsumption because I liked to style stuff. Not so much create, but more to put things together. And so that's what I do at RLCC also right now. I put things together and figure out, okay, ये material आया तो इसका क्या बन सकता है, rather than ये design है और उसका material खरीदना है. It works in the opposite way. So what people can do is, and what I do is, I live on hand-me-downs. Because I can make the decision of not shopping, which I haven't done in 12 years. So barely, I won't say 100%, but barely. Like it'll take a lot for me to be like, okay, I really, really like this, and that might happen like once a year, but I don't really do it anymore. I buy my shoes in thrift, clothes. I can't stop my family from shopping, but so they do. And then when they get sick of stuff, they give it to me. So, and then it gives me like, but we were talking, it's portly. Where do I store it? There's so much. And so some stuff which then gets completely worn out goes to RLCC as samples for the artisans to understand, look, these are things also that you can make if you're interested. We open them, we use the pattern. And then other stuff, it's just so much fun to put things together, right? So you're not wearing the same outfit to 5 different weddings. You might wear one article, and kind of mix and match.
Sounds
and mix
very
and match.
Instagrammable, how you take one outfit and make it
mix
into 5.
and match, yeah.
But in the Pakistani
that's fun,
context,
right? So you have 5 things, but you can kind of wear it 5 different ways. And perhaps we should start looking at doing that. It's fun also to do it.
For sure.
For me, it is.
In terms of climate change, in terms of sustainability, millennials and Gen Zs, the ones who are making the decision right now, need to understand that. And it's great that RLCC is not the only organization that has come up. We were talking about the other organizations that are empowering women, empowering local artisans, and we have all these avenues, the commons and everywhere, where we can go and buy local handicrafts, sustainability angle, all that, rather than go to Temu or Daraz.
That feels better than the other one.
Yeah. I mean, and it looks better, it lasts better.
It lasts better.
So yeah, I hope that that's a trend that continues, and your Punchy Crafts, as soon as it goes online, I'm sure I'll be shopping. I hope others too. Yes.
Monday, Punchy Crafts is going live.
And as we talked earlier about, the corporates as well need to understand that, and then maybe shop at.
Yeah, like we spoke about this, that, this whole, pollution is not just with our clothes, right? It's with our children's gifts. It's with our corporate gifts. So we really need to start looking at who are the local people that are creating the kind of products that we would like to use ourselves, which we would like to then gift to others. Like if I'm not using plastic, why would I buy plastic to gift it to you, right? So children's toys, massive problem with all of this China plastic stuff. But there are local people that are creating, localized toys which you support their businesses, and your children are then playing with something that is a lot more valuable. Corporate gifting the same. I mean, this need to put your logo, dude, nobody's using it. Everyone's passing it down. And that's just creating more trash. And oh my God, tote bags. I can't take another tote bag. Like there's 10, 12, 15 tote bags. Tote bags are the new plastic bags. So please stop making tote bags. Like it's done now.
Right. So the entire conversation needs to shift from mass consumption to selective, sustainable handicrafts that support local artisans. I really hope that RLCC continues in that mention and others come up and continue down this path.
And the RLCC does provide a platform. Like this is what happened for me. I initially came to RLCC because I wanted to design a line of bags. And then I realized the idea of being creative or being in that act of creating something is actually where the satisfaction lies. So if I'm, instead of helping 10 artisans, I can help 150 artisans by joining RLCC and helping RLCC do it. So, not everybody has to become a designer. Not everybody has to have their own business. You can join RLCC and help here as well. Or you can co-market stuff, right? So you do collaborative work. So there's a professor from London, actually, Alice Kettle. She sends work to the artisans, and then she further works on their work and takes it all over the world and supports our artisans.
So that's great. That's pooling in resources
Exactly.
to do the most that you can do.
Exactly. And also for all of these local businesses that are coming to Commons and Mashan, when you're growing your business, how much can you make with your own hands?
Scalability.
If you're scaling, bring it here. Our artisans will produce it for you and you sell it, and
That is great, and I hope that other artisans understand this and join in the whole sustainability long-term climate change battle that we have going on. Thank you so much for coming to my show. This is very interesting talking to you.
It was lovely speaking with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
So thank you so much for tuning in. In this episode, we talked about how local artisans can be supported along with climate change, sustainability, and fighting the trend of mass consumerism and Chinese giants that flood our markets with imports. So hope you enjoyed the show.